Welcome back to an episode of SmoothBrainEDH, bringing the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. This week, the Smooth Brain crew decided to try a deck building challenge. All cards in the top 50 cards played in each color, according to EDHREC, are banned, meaning they'd have to be a lot more creative than just slamming Soul Ring and Cultivate in every deck. Let's see what these bad lads brewed up. First up is Cameron on Brudiclad, Telecore Engineer. This Izzet deck is all about tokens, hoping to make one absurd token, then make a bunch of absurd tokens with Brudiclad's triggered ability. Next is Alex on Veyran, Voice of Duality. Alex learned they couldn't cast good cards and decided to cast all the bad ones in a single turn, using Veyran to double up cast and copy triggers. Our third player today is Shelby on General Tazri. Shelby took the challenge pretty literally and built a 5-color deck around a very underrepresented creature type, Allies. Last is Jason on Kayla, bin-Kroog. Jason apparently thought this challenge was not hard enough and made this a Zerda companion deck, meaning every permanent in this deck has an activated ability. Don't know how he's winning, but it's cool. We're about to hop right into the game, but before that, go and give us a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. We have links to our social media, public Discord server, Decklists, and our Patreon in the description. We're partnered with Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you're looking to pick up any sleeves, deck boxes, or playmats, and use code SMOOTH5 at checkout for 5% off your order. We're also partnered with Inks Gaming. Our affiliate link is also in the description if you're looking to make any custom playmats. Now, on to the gameplay.
Looks like Jason wins the die roll. He'll play a Plains into Springleaf Drum and then pass to Cameron. Cameron plays a tapped Dwarven Mine and passes to Alex. He plays a basic mountain and then he'll cast Dragon's Rage Chandler and then pass to Shelby. And Shelby will play an Unclaimed Territory on Ally and then pass the turn to Jason. Now we're back at the top. Jason will play a Sunbaked Canyon and pass. Now on Cameron's turn, he'll play a Snow-Covered Island and then cast Treasure Map and then pass to Alex. Alex just plays a basic island and passes. Then Shelby plays a Spire Garden and will pass. Now on Jason's turn, he'll play another Plains and then cast Queen Kayla, and he has to take a damage to a Sunbaked Canyon. The turn is then passed, and on upkeep, Cameron will activate Treasure Map to scry one. He'll keep it on top, and then on his main phase, he'll play a Treasure Vault as land for turn. Then he'll tap for 2 and cast the Iron Crag, and then pass to Alex. Alex will start off with his Shivan Reef, then he'll tap for 3 and cast Veyran, and then pass to Shelby, who plays an Exotic Orchard. And unfortunately, he hasn't drawn any 2 or 3 drops, so he'll just pass the turn. Jason will tap for 3 with his lands, and then an additional 1 by using Springleaf Drum, and then he'll cast Thran Dynamo, and he is pinged by Sunbaked Canyon again. Then he'll use it to pay 3 mana and put Zerda into his hand. He'll then pass the turn to Cameron, and once again on upkeep, he'll pay 1 to Treasure Map to scry 1, and he'll bottom it this time. Then on his turn, he'll just play a basic mountain as land for turn, and then pass the turn to Alex. Alex starts off with another mountain, then he'll cast Runaway Steamkin. After this, he'll cast Obsessive Search, and DRC will trigger twice thanks to Veyran. First Surveil puts an island into the bin, then the second one will stay on top. Veyran then double triggers herself, getting +2/+2 until end of turn, and then Alex draws that card. After this, he'll move to combat and hit Jason for 4 commander, who just has to take it, and then he'll pass the turn to Shelby. Shelby plays a basic forest as land for turn, then he'll play Munda, Ambush Leader, and when Munda ETBs, he looks at the top 4 cards of his library. He reveals Halimar Excavator and puts it on the top. Then he'll move to combat and he hits Alex for 3. The turn is then passed to Jason, where he'll start off by casting Zerda, and he uses his Thran Dynamo, so he has 2 colorless floating after this. Then with the help of Springleaf Drum and Sunbaked Canyon, he'll cast Osgear. Then he'll pass the turn to Cameron, and once again he'll scry on upkeep with Treasure Map. He'll leave it on top and then make 3 treasures and transform it into Treasure Cove. He'll then tap 5 lands and sack a treasure to cast Brudiclad. After this, he'll sacrifice another treasure to cast Hard Evidence. This makes him a crab and a clue token. He'll then move to combat and Brudiclad triggers, making him a 2/1 mirror, and then he'll make all of his tokens into treasures. He then moves to post-combat, and then just passes. Alex will start his turn off with a Misty Rainforest as land for turn. He'll then fetch with it for a basic island. The island is then tapped for a peak, and he's got triggers. DRC will surveil 1 twice, and he leaves both on top, and then Veyran gets +2/+2. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the target of peak. It's Shelby. It resolves, so Shelby will DM Alex a picture of his hand, and then Alex draws a card. After this, Alex will tap for 2 and cast Erebor Flamesmith. This triggers Steamkin, and because it's not an instant or sorcery, it only gets 1 counter. After this, Alex will tap for 1 red and cast Renegade Tactics targeting Brudiclad. Triggers. Each of Alex's opponents are pinged for 2. He gets to surveil 1 twice. Runaway Steamkin gets counters, and Veyran gets +2/+2. First surveil is Wooded Foothills to the bin, and the second one also goes to the bin. It's a mountain. Finally, the spell will resolve, and Alex also gets to draw a card. Oh, but the triggers aren't done yet. He'll cast a Consider. DRC surveils 1 twice, both to the top. Veyran gets even bigger, and all of Alex's opponents get pinged for 2. Consider will then resolve, and he'll draw the card on top. Then Alex will move to combat, and he swings at Cameron for 8 commander, and Brudiclad can't block, so Cameron will just take the 8. Oh, looks like I was yapping a little too much. Alex wasn't done declaring attackers. He also hit Shelby for 4 with his Steamkin. Then he'll pass the turn to Shelby, where he'll start off with a command tower as land for turn. He'll then just pass the turn to Jason, who starts off with Needle Verge Pathway as land for turn. Then he'll cast Memory Jar. Cameron will respond to this by cracking all 4 of his treasure tokens to cast Sea Double. Alex has exactly 8 cards in his graveyard, so Cameron will copy the Memory Jar and then make a token copy of Erebor Flamesmith. And it resolves, so Cameron gets the copies of both. After all that, Jason's Memory Jar will resolve, and then he'll activate it, so everyone exiles their hands face down and will draw 7 cards. On end step, they'll discard their hands and get the exiled cards back. So after that happens, Jason will then pay 4 mana to activate his commander and discard his hand.
So I'm discarding 2 mountains, a Sundown Pass, Exotic Orchard, Elegant Parlor, Demand Answers, and an Immovable Rod.
And he will select the Immovable Rod off Kayla's ability to be put onto the battlefield. Oh yeah, and after he discards the 7 cards, he'll then draw 7 cards. Then with Jason's last mana, which comes from his Sundown Pass, he'll cast Goblin Welder. Then he'll pass the turn, and on end step, everyone discards their hands.
Discarding a Ganjo, Seed of the Empire, Soaken Sun, Crucible Defiance, Drowned Temple, a Rustvale Bridge, Relic of Legend specifically, and then Reprieve.
I have Mountain, Island, Detective Satchel, Worn Power Stone, Iron Mirror, Brass's Bounty, Tectonic.
Arid Mesa, Bloodstained Mire, Expedite, Fiery Inscription, Leap, Fist of Flame, and Quicken.
Hero of Goma Fata, Tuk Tuk Scrapper, Sea of Clouds, March from the Tomb, Nomad Outpost, Resolute Blade Master, and a Lantern.
That last one was Lantern Scout. Anyways, the exiled cards then go to everyone's hands. Let's move to Cameron's turn now, where he'll start off with a 3rd Path Iconoclast. Then it's time to do more Memory Jar shenanigans. So he'll sacrifice and activate it, so everyone has to do the exile hand, draw 7 shenanigans again. Then once that's all said and done, Cameron will cast Karn, Scion of Urza, and this triggers his 3rd Path Iconoclast. The trigger and the spell resolve, and then Cameron will downtick Karn to make a Karnstruct. Yes, Karn has a starting loyalty of 5. Yes, that's a -2 ability. Yes, Cameron minuses to 2 loyalty. He's a bit silly sometimes. Anyways, after this, he'll move to combat and make a 2/1 mirror with Brudiclad, and then turn all of his tokens into Karnstructs. Ooh, that's a lot of power. But it's okay, Cameron's a respectable young gentleman, and he only sends 1 7/7 at each of his opponents, and they each take 7. Cameron will then move to his end step, and everybody discards their hands.
Steam Vents, Dragon Fodder, Fire of Industry, Theoretical Duplication, and Snow-Covered Island.
Mountain, a Thriving Isle, a Scalding Tarn, Unruly Catapult, Aetherize, Island, Electrostatic Field.
Vault of Champions, Sandstep Citadel, Indoth Triome, Path of Ancestry, Bruce Taro, Kindred Discovery, Morphic Pool,
Prismatic Lens, Selfless Spirit, Giver of Runes, Cryptex, Staff of Domination, a Shatterskull Smashing, and Arid Mesa.
Alright, then everyone else gets their exiled hand back, and we move to Alex's turn. He'll start off by removing 3 counters from Runaway Steamkin to make 3 red mana. And then he'll tap out to overload Mizzix's Mastery. Shelby will respond with a collected company. Let's see if this Coco finds anything. No dice. There's nothing in his top 6. So the Mystic's Mastery resolves. Oh yeah, and all the abilities from casting a sorcery. And yeah, Alex goes and finds all the instants and sorceries in his graveyard. There's a lot thanks to memory jars. This is going to be interesting. So Alex will put 9 instants and sorceries on the stack, and there's a ton of triggers. He resolves the Erebor Flamesmith first, so everyone takes 18. 3 of these spells are red, so Runaway Steamkin will trigger 6 times. And each time the Steamkin gets up to 3 counters, he'll remove 3 and then keep going. So he'll have 6 floating red mana, and his Steamkin will have 2 counters. Next, Veyran will be absolutely massive, and then he has 18 Surveils. The first 3 will put 2 lands and Aetherflux Reservoir in the bin, and then he finds a card he wants, so the next 13 stay on top. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention what targets he has for some of his spells. One of them is Leap, so it's going to target Veyran. Renegade Tactics will make Brudiclad unable to block. Expedite will target Runaway Steamkin. Obsessive Search just draws a card. Peek targets Jason's hand. Consider will keep the card on top and he'll draw it. Aetherize does nothing. Quicken does quicken things. And then Fist of Flame will put +6 and Trample onto Runaway Steamkin. Alright, now that that's all resolved, Alex will use 2 of his floating red to cast Firebrand Archer. Steamkin will get a counter. After this, he'll cast Kessig Flame Breather, and then a Demand Answers. Off of the ping triggers, Shelby and Jason will die, and Cameron says, I died to a flying Veyran, so I'll just scoop. Which makes Alex and Veyran the winners. Congratulations. Well everyone, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this goofy little game of Magic the Gathering. Removing the top 50 cards in your colors is quite interesting if you ask me. I really hope to see more out of Shelby's allies, but unfortunately he kept a pretty bad hand. But let us know what you guys thought down in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe too if you enjoyed this video. But that's all from me today. I hope you all have a smooth day.